Our first retro review that we're going to do is Scooby-Doo 2002. So it's Scooby-Doo the movie. Scooby-Doo the movie was directed by Raja Gonzal, but it was also the screenplay was by James Gunn. James Gunn, who people know, is now went on to huge success. Guardians of the Galaxy director. Now he's the head of DC, doing the DC project stuff. Also director of the Suicide Squad, Slither, Super. And
Dawn of the Dead.
Wrote Dawn of the Dead as well. Yes. So that's kind of how he started to like make his career, kind of coming up. Being a writer.
Hey, we can't forget like the greatest thing that James Gunn has ever written. And that's PG porn.
PG porn, which was a comedy. YouTube, was it like on YouTube or was it on like Spike?
Yeah, it was a YouTube.
Yeah, it was a YouTube thing. It would have just like all the things you love about porn except the sex.
Yeah. So, he kind of, he's had a long career in Hollywood. I mean, the original vision for this movie was a lot different than what it turned out to be, what he wanted. And then obviously that conflicted with what the studio wanted. He wanted to go a little bit more harder edge with a lot of this stuff. I mean, I don't think he wanted to go as hard edge as something like we saw with the Velma series on HBO Max. But
yeah, true. But from what I gathered from reading interviews with James Gunn about the production of this movie, what he was going for ended up turning out what we got with something like 21 Jump Street, something that was very reverent of the original Scooby-Doo, but was also a harder R-edged parody of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah. Jamarco, have you seen the Velma series?
No.
It's awful.
It's
horrible.
I am a devout Scooby-Doo disciple. Me and my brother, we've grown up on Scooby. So when I saw the trailer, I was just like, oh, so that's what you're doing?
Oh, okay.
So I avoided it like the plague.
Yeah, I know there was another show before this one that was Scooby-Doo. It called Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Like it was like an animated show that lasted for a little bit. And now people are trying to go back to get that show, to bring that show back because it got canceled.
Yeah,
I know.
That was great.
Yeah, a lot of people at first, because I was seeing some of the creators of that show talk about how much they got death threats and people hated it and they hated the animation of it and everything like that.
I remember that.
Oh, man, we can't have nothing nice.
You said you do remember that. You said.
Yes. I caught a few episodes of it. I dug it. So it's streaming, right? I'm pretty sure I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, I really dug it. So, but that's just fandom. They don't like it when you touch their stuff.
Yeah. Now people are kind of going back and wishing that one would come back. So that's kind of sparked why we're doing Scooby-Doo in the first place, because of the Velma series. And I don't think I've ever watched this one before, Scooby-Doo the movie. I don't think I've ever seen it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it before. So it was kind of interesting. Maybe I've seen bits and pieces of it, but never the full thing all the way through. So it was kind of interesting to watch. So here in Scooby-Doo the movie, you have Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is playing Daphne. You got her real-life husband, Freddie Prinze Jr. Sarah Michelle Gellar, people know her from Buffy, Cruel Intentions. She was in the second Scream movie. She's been in 90s kind of.
She was in many 90s teenage boys' dreams and a lot of girls, I'm guessing, to also.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
90s icon, I think you can kind of say. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I wanted to hide my body in the woods and start the search to find me.
What's the revenge, guys?
You also have Freddie Prinze Jr., who he was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. He was like a big 90s guy as well, like who was in all
that.
Yeah, he's a prominent voice actor. He does a lot of voice work, especially for Disney Star Wars properties, where he voiced what was his character in Rebels? I'm blanking on his name.
He voiced Kanan Jarrus in Rebels.
Yeah. So now he kind of does that. And really big Star Wars nerd himself as well. Freddie Prinze. Freddie
Oh
Prinze
yeah.
Jr.
If
I
y'all
wonder.
haven't seen his Disney rant, y'all gotta watch that one.
Yeah, if you haven't seen his breakdown of how the Force actually works, it's fascinating stuff.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I wonder who would win in a Star Wars off between him and then Sam Worthington. I wonder who would win. I wonder.
You
And
mean
Sam,
Sam Witwer?
yeah, Sam Witwer. I'm sorry, yeah, Sam Witwer. Yeah, the guy who was in Force
Yeah, we actually,
Unleashed.
we actually like Sam Witwer in this household.
Yeah, Whitworth's the man. Yeah, that'd be a good combo because Whitwer, he is devout Star Wars.
Yeah. So and then you also have Matthew Lillard, who a lot of people after this movie praised Matthew Lillard, praised his Shaggy, and then after this movie, he went on to actually voice Shaggy in numerous
Absolutely.
other Scooby-Doo
Oh yeah.
projects and everything like that. Matthew Lillard, people know he was in Scream, the OG Scream.
Yeah. Yep. You hit me with a phone, dick.
My parents are gonna be so mad at me.
Even though this movie is in 2002, there's a lot of 90s people in it. There's a lot of like people who got really big, throughout the 90s, into this, who will get popped up in this movie. And then to round out the gang, you have Linda Cardellini, who's Velma. In this, who's rounding out Linda Cardellini. She was on Freaks and Geeks. She was on just recently. She pops up in the Avengers films from time to time. She's the wife of Jeremy Renner's character Hawkeye. In it. Oh, I'm sorry, Jamarco.
And of course she was most recently in the Netflix show Dead to Me, which I finally caught the first episode a couple days ago, and incredible stuff.
Nice, yeah. So you kind of see some of the vision here with the movie with in James' script of what he kind of wanted to do. Kind of being a little bit more satirical, on the the Scooby-Doo kind of property, because the movie kind of opens up with them, doing their Scooby-Doo activities, solving a case, and everybody's just kind of doing what they typically do. Daphne, she's getting kidnapped. Fred's looking at himself in the mirror. Shaggy and Scooby are, just jerking off, doing what they do.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
So yeah, I mean, they're doing what they're doing, and Velma's the only one. You see that she's really the brains behind the operation here, and she's the one that's really doing it. And and it also stresses that they're kind of internationally famous. Like a lot of people know who they are, kind of celebrities there. And you see that, after the opening scene,
Of course they had. Yeah, of course they had the sign of being a celebrity in the 90s and early 2000s. An interview with Pam Anderson.
yeah,
Pamela Anderson?
yeah,
The Pamela Anderson.
yeah, throwback. Yeah, that is another throwback there.
Wowee.
And then,
Still relevant now. She just dropped a Netflix thing, didn't she?
I think it was like a documentary that came out about her, and then also there was that show Pam and Tommy that was on Hulu, which
Right, yes.
Lily James and you had Sebastian Stan, who was they were both Pam and
wow.
Tommy,
Yeah.
which we actually reviewed and we liked quite a bit.
I need to
Yeah,
watch
a little
that.
bit.
Yeah. And then also you more 90s goodness, you have a special guest appearance because usually in 2000 movies, 90s movies, you had to have like some musical guest appearance that showed up sometimes in these movies. And this one was Mark McGrath, who's like douchebag Ethan Hawke, where, like if you didn't know he had that song, like he was part of Sugar Ray, and then it's like I Want to Fly, like that was like the big hit that Sugar Ray
That
had.
was the jam, man.
Hey, say what you will about Mark McGrath, but I actually kind of like Sugar Ray.
I like that one
Sugar
song.
Ray.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What did you say, Jamarco?
I was singing Fly.
Oh, Fly. Oh, yeah.
I was doing the scatting that the man was doing. DJ scratching.
Yeah. That's what kind of rounds out the cast and what you kind of have here. And I've got some people that were in this movie. You had Isla Fisher, who's blonde in this movie, who looks unrecognizable as blonde. I was like, oh, that's Isla Fisher. I was like, it looks completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, of course.
Her name
Yeah,
is Mary Jane.
playing a character named Mary Jane, who's Shaggy's response. That's like my favorite name ever.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Kids, y'all don't know what's going on, but us adults in the room, we know. Wink, wink, wink.
So I mean, I think that you kind of see some of the things of like, the group kind of coming together. I think one thing about this movie, even though it does have pretty bad effects, I mean, this is 2002, but it does, I mean, it does have.
Make no mistake. They tried to CGI Scooby and all of the various monsters that you see, and Scooby-Doo in this. How do I put this? He is the stuff nightmares are made of. Scooby-Doo in this movie is my goddamn sleep paralysis demon.
CGI Scooby's not real. He can't hurt you. Over there.
So, I mean, they do kind of I mean, I guess this is as best you're going to get maybe in 2002, kind of what was going on here. So you do have that. But I think what works best about this movie is the chemistry between the entire cast, between everybody that kind of go. I think they do really work really well together and bounce off each other really well. Jamarco, have you seen Scooby-Doo the movie?
Oh, hell yeah. I grew up on Scooby-Doo the movie, man. And at the time, I didn't. I was just happy to see Scooby-Doo in live action. But now that I'm older, I catch a lot of the jokes that Nick was talking about. Of course, like there's the famous joke when Pass the Dutchie is playing and there's smoke billowing from the Mystery Machine. And I didn't get that as a kid, but I do now. And the reveal is that they're in there cooking or something, but to all the adults,
It just got a hibachi grill in there.
It's a weed joke. But yeah, I adore this movie for all of its corny nostalgia. Because 2002 was a big year for me. Because this came out and then Spider-Man came out. So these were like the two pillars of my childhood. These two movies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2002 was an incredible year, and I think this came out the same weekend as Harry Potter did. It came out the same weekend as Harry Potter. Yeah, us 2000s kids were eating.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
At the time, it had the second highest June opening weekend behind Austin Powers' Spy Who Shagged Me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And we've talked about doing a segment on the show called Millennial Classics. I think this would apply to it because very much a lot of millennials, have a love for this movie, like how, they have a love for kind of other things, such as like Hocus Pocus. It's a big one that a lot of millennials that talk about. So, I mean, I think that this is, something that a lot of people, because it's kind of gone on to be somewhat of a, I guess a cult classic, I think you would say. People kind of remember it. Very kind of in a fond way. Nick, how did you feel about it, especially going back to it, maybe after some time?
So just for context, I hadn't seen the movie up until I saw the movie opening weekend in theaters, of course, like a lot of people my age did, and I watched it several times over, and I basically wore out that VHS because we still had those at the time. You all you youngins. See, it's like this little tape that you can only when you hit play and then you take it out, it plays at the exact same second, but that tape can wear out. But I hadn't seen it since I was a little kid, and going back to it in 2023 with that lens, I agree with you that some of the CGI gets really rough, especially around Scooby-Doo. There is kind of a little bit of that uncanny valley with him there. But you're right. What makes this movie is the chemistry with the Scooby Gang. Everybody is kind of bringing their A game to their roles. Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, Matthew Lillard, and Linda Cardellini. They're all incredible. They have fantastic chemistry together. The one criticism I have is that we start the film with the group having a falling out. And I think that why would you take away your biggest asset in a Scooby-Doo movie right in the first 20 minutes of it?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if this is your first introduction to the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was an element that was left over from James Gunn's script because that was supposed to be after they've been doing this for several decades and the gang's a little older and this is meant to be a parody of Scooby-Doo.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's interesting because there was, they did do a sequel because it was very successful enough that they did do a sequel to it. They never did a third movie to it. How did you all feel about the sequel to, which was
Monsters Unleashed.
Monsters Unleashed?
I don't remember it, but I remember liking it as a child. So, but I know it. I haven't seen it in a while, so I have to probably go revisit it. But I mean, it's the thing with sequels where it's like, all right, we gotta do it bigger and better with more jokes and more gags and more, just more and more and more. And it, in certain scenes, you kind of lose that essence of the group because it's just it gets too zany. There's too much going on. There's too much villain stuff. There's just too much jokes. There's too much fart jokes. I'm like, okay, can we just get back to the Scooby of it all? So that's kind of where I fall in with it. Again, I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe I'll change, but
Yeah.
for that, I prefer the first one if we're gonna pick between the two.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go
I
ahead.
don't think I've ever seen this. I don't think I've even ever seen the second one past like when I first watched it when it came out on DVD. See,
Yeah.
there was enough time that we went from VHS to DVD exclusively, kids.
There was an evolution at the time.
All I really remember from Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed is that was when they really leaned into how hot Velma was.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what she was in, like the S&M kind of outfit.
Yeah, the hot red
Yeah.
suit. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Who Linda Carlini? I mean, she looks very good here too, as well. James Gunn said, like in the more kind of R-rated cut, that they did have a lot of cleavage in it, and also that Velma and Daphne did have like a side relationship, or Velma was supposed to be a lesbian.
Yeah, and they originally wrote Fred to be gay in the 2002 version, and Freddie Prinze Jr. played him that way.
Oh, now I gotta look at it though. I gotta rewatch it. Wow.
So it's kind of, if anything, the 2002 Scooby-Doo, I have a lot of love for the movie because I kind of have a little bit of nostalgia goggles, but even looking at it with the context of everything I know that was taken down from what Gunn's original screenplay was, it becomes a fascinating movie to watch.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. What was some of the kind of things you loved most, Jamarco, about Scooby-Doo?
The first one I loved, like to Nick said, the chemistry between the human cast. And just whenever there's a lot of fun Scooby gags to be had, like when there's the chase scene in that they're not in a casino, but after they solve the mystery and they go in that club and Velma's flirting with that guy and the monsters show up, that chase scene's really fun. The Sugar Ray cameo is really fun. The body swapping is really, really fun. And we're missing.
Oh, yeah, that gag might be the highlight of the movie because not only do you have all of these characters playing off each other, you have all of these 4 actors playing different roles in that one scene, and they all nail it.
They're so great. Like, there's a bit where Matthew Lillard as Fred is like, everybody remain calm. It's just so good. And we're missing a very essential part to this movie.
Oh, and of course, Matthew Lillard as Velma.
Yes, that's good too. I just wanted to shout out really quick Rowan Atkinson, who our audience may know as Mr. Bean. What was his villain name? It was a very long, convoluted.
His character was named
something like that.
Yeah, Mondavarius. Yeah.
Mondavarius,
Emil Mondavarius.
Yeah, the head of Spooky Island. Which, if that was a real theme park, I would love to go.
White people would eat that shit up.
Spooky Island all day. You kidding me? Yes. Oh, is this a real cult? I'm in. Yeah, they wouldn't even question.
I bet.
Oh, y'all sacrifice people? All right, let's do it. Yeah. So, but I love just seeing him whenever he pops up, and of course, we have to talk about the tiny Scooby in the room that is Scrappy. Perhaps one of the most hated cartoon characters of all time.
Yeah. Which I thought was.
See, I never understood the hate for Scrappy Doo.
He was just rambunctious. Just he was hanging out with his uncle.
I mean, he was an asshole.
Yeah. Puppy power, man.
which I thought was a really that was another great thing about the movie was the reveal of who the person was running everything. I thought that was, I think, pretty funny, and I thought that was a pretty great reveal when they reveal the main villain is Scrappy Doo. Like you said, for the reasons you listed, of him being such a hated character amongst Scooby Doo fans, I thought that was really really good review. I mean, how did you feel about that review, Jamarco?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I loved it as a kid. I was like, oh, of course, he'd be pissed off, and when he was getting all big and hulked out, that did give me nightmares for a little while. And I was young. I was like 8 years old, but I
Hulk,
do remember 'cause I went to see him.
Hulk Scrappy Doo can't hurt you, Jamarco.
Yeah, you got CGI Scooby. I got Hulk Scrappy. That's just. But I did like one of my favorite bits when he gets arrested is they used to do this a lot in cartoon movies. Kids, they would almost curse. Like there's a part at the end where he's like, "I wouldn't have got away with it too. One for your meddling sons of." Like, that's good comedy. That was good comedy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third act is really fun because on one hand you got Scooby and Scrappy chasing each other, and for some reason Velma's like a badass wrestler now. Not Velma, Daphne. I'm like, oh okay, sure.
So,
Her movie.
I
Hey,
want
they said like in between when the gang was broken up that Daphne had like studied all the martial arts. So I guess she's
Batman.
now Batman.
Where's that?
She's been kidnapped a lot.
You know what? That's fair. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Self-defense.
I want to kind of get your opinion there, Jamarco, because I know you said you're a big Scooby Doo guy.
Yes, sir.
About the kind of characterizations of the Scooby gang. Like we all know, Velma, she's a smart one, but what about everyone else? You know what I mean? Like, usually what do they bring to the table? And do you think this movie showcased that?
Well, like Nick said, it was like almost a parody of Scooby-Doo because, as we all know, Velma's the smart one, Daphne's the cute one, Scooby and Shaggy are the stoners, and Fred is the handsome one. And I think they really amped up all of those tropes to make it, funny for the kids who recognize the Scooby-Doo show, but also for the adults who grew up watching these cartoons and these spin-offs because Scooby-Doo's been around for since the 60s.
Yeah.
So everybody has some kind of concrete, idea of what Scooby-Doo is. And I think what this film does is just, if you're a fan of it, if you grew up with it, then you can go, oh, okay, yeah, they did that. But if you're new to it, if you're a kid who's just been watching Scooby-Doo for 3 years, you can pick up on it easily as well because these tropes are, they're eternal. Everybody knows. Just like everybody knows Batman's parents gets killed, everybody knows Velma's a smart one, Daphne's pretty, Fred is handsome, he's the leader, okay gang, let's split up. Everybody knows these tropes. So I think what this movie does is really it stays true to character because certain films like to stray off and do their own thing, but this felt really true to the essence of what Scooby-Doo is, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Nick, besides Matthew Lillard, do you think everyone else captures their character pretty well?
Yeah, and it's kind of jarring watching this after just having watched the first couple episodes of Velma because the versions of the characters on that show are not even close. They just took them into the most just wannabe edgy kind of version of them. And everyone's just a straight up asshole in there. Ugh. And here we get exaggerated versions of those archetypes of the Scooby Gang, but they all still feel true to character. Fred is kind of a glory hound, but he is also fairly competent. Daphne is the pretty one who is kind of sick of being the one who gets kidnapped all the time. Velma, of course, is the genius, and Shaggy and Scooby are the two stonehairs.
Exactly.
Yeah, Shaggy and Scooby, you see in this movie, they're the glue that kind of keeps everybody together. They're the, you know what I mean, the people that they love and they keep everyone together. You see that Daphne.
They're the Troy and Abed of this group.
Exactly. Yes, that's the perfect way to put it.
And you see that, Daphne, she's the pretty one, and she's, getting tired of being kidnapped, and she wants to change that and, grow and, be more competent. And you see Fred, you always need a leader. You always need somebody who brings everybody together, and that's what he does, and that's his job. So, you have that. I mean, I think, at least what you want out of your Scooby-Doo movie is your gang, is your characters, your main, gang to work well and to be good. And I think this movie does accomplish that. I think it's just some of the other outside elements, obviously, that kind of fail this movie when it comes to the effects, when it comes to the story itself. It's just,
and I think most of all, the biggest failing I hesitate even calling it failing, because even I like the movie, but I kind of want to see what Gunn's original script looked like. I wanted to see a version of that movie, especially after the success of something like 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah, hashtag release the gun cut.
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe he's got some pull at Warner Brothers now. Maybe he can do another version of Scooby-Doo. Yeah,
Warner Brothers. That's all I'm saying.
Bring back the cast again.
That cast is still pretty fun.
Yeah, they're still hot. They can still do it.
Yeah.
Get a better CGI dog. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Better just lean into it and have Scooby just be a demon.
Just look the same. He hasn't aged.
So it'd be the Scooby Gang after 18 years, because the last one came out in 2004, so it'd be 18 years there.
I had a theory, since I'm such a big Scooby-Doo fan, they should just adapt some of these great cartoon movies. Like, I would love to see a live-action version of Zombie Island. That's my big.
Oh, that would fucking rule.
That's what I want. Like, Witches Ghost, Zombie Island. Like, adapt those.
Yeah. So is that considered one of the best adaptations of Scooby-Doo is Zombie Island?
I would argue it's the best Scooby-Doo movie ever. That's my argument.
Okay.
It's actually scary.
Interesting. So yeah. So out of a Scooby-Doo movie, did this deliver kind of maybe mainly kind of what you all wanted from it? Seeing?
Yes. I'm not going to speak for Nick. Go ahead.
I would say yes, especially at the time, because my real knowledge and background on Scooby-Doo mostly came from the reruns of it on Boomerang. And I think What's New Scooby-Doo also was running on Cartoon Network at the time. So that was really my frame of reference. And just going off of that and then seeing this movie in live action, it gave me exactly what I wanted. And even now, with kind of the lens of nostalgia goggles, even a little bit, as much as I tried to hold that back when I was rewatching it, it still ended up getting to me. I was still very satisfied and had a great time watching this movie.
Same here, man.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I did as well. I mean, I think some jokes don't land very much, but
but the jokes that land, especially the naughtier ones that we didn't really understand as kids, it's like, we don't go anywhere near spooky, scary, Doomfield, or hydrocolonic, but that's for a different reason.
Yes, that joke got me too. But yeah, like you said, some of the jokes are kind of I don't know, I'm getting older. I'm like, all right, I need this part scene to be over with now.
Yeah.
But then there will be just a line that's kind of feels like a throwaway, but it just catches me so off guard that I end up laughing.
Yeah, same here.
And yeah, so I mean, I did enjoy it. Maybe interested to see the sequel. I haven't seen this one, so maybe want to go check it out. And I am interested to consume more kind of Scooby-Doo content. And like I said, Matthew Lillard does a fantastic job as Shaggy, and I can see why he continued to play the character.
He did so good. He played Shaggy in every single animated adaptation up until Scoob in 2020.
Yes, and there's a great joke if y'all haven't seen Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Oh yes, I love it.
Where the animated Scooby chews him out for playing him in such
the
a
animated
way.
The animated Shaggy chews out Matthew Lillard, who is also being voiced by Shaggy and getting intimidated by Scooby-Doo.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is cinema.
So for this Scooby-Doo the movie, I would give it a stream it. I think kind of just the middle of the road stream it for me. What about everyone else? Jamarco, so our rating system, so we do This Is Cinema, that's the highest one we got. Then we do a tune in, tune out. Then we do a stream it, which is our rental there. And then we do a skip it, burn it, and then a waste of fucking film is our
I love
Uh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Stream it. Stream it. If you haven't seen it in a while, watch it. Bring some friends over. Crack open some drinks. If you love this movie, like you grew up on it like us, have a little. Put your nostalgia goggles on. It's all good. It's fine.
Hmm.
No one's gonna judge you. Just laugh and have a good time. You may
Yeah,
feel a little too.
I tried to be put on critic brain when I was rewatching this for the show, but nostalgia is a motherfucker, guys.
Man, I was having fun. I'm sorry, but yeah, man, stream it, please.
All right. Nick.
Yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. I love this movie. I recognize that objectively there is a lot that is wrong with this movie, a lot that this movie kind of fails on in terms of some of its plotting and some of its CGI. But it was one of the big movies of my childhood, and I still have a lot of fond memories. So I was getting a lot of those nostalgic feels, and even just judging it objectively, a Scooby-Doo story is made or broken by the strength and the chemistry of its cast, of whoever they cast as the Scooby Gang. And this movie nails it. Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, Linda Cardellini, and Matthew Lillard, all of them are fantastic. And even the voice actor for Scooby, who was who I'm looking up the gentleman's name right now, who Scooby here is voiced by Neil Fanning, who I think has done. Yeah, Neil Fanning, who does the voice of Scooby in this, and he's great in the role, and he gets that chemistry, even as jarring as the CG is at times between him and Shaggy. Matthew Lillard sells it enough to where I believe it.
Right, for sure. Same here.
Yeah, and Daphne, she had to learn all that, kung fu skills. I think that was just a thing in the early 2000s. After the Matrix, everybody wanted to do everybody wanted to be like that. Everybody wanted to have.
This was Sarah Michelle Gellar at the height of Buffy, I think.
Yeah,
Buffy,
that too.
yeah, the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, and it's like season 5 or 6 of Buffy was on the air while this was going. While I think this movie was in production.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And she had to go back and forth between filming Buffy and then filming this. Yeah, go back and forth. Yeah. So that was Scooby-Doo, the movie.